Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Northwich Memorial Hall. I'm Andrew Dawson and I'm Chairman of the Scrutiny Committee. Thank you all very much for attending. Now, we have three members of the Executive here tonight. In the middle, we have the leader of the new Cheshire West and Chester Council, Councillor Mike Jones.
Good evening.
Next to me, we have Councillor Les Ford, who's the Deputy Leader, and at the far end, we have Councillor Neil Ritchie.
How can the Council justify its refusal to provide non-financial information to the public in respect of the tenders for the Cheshire County Council Waste Treatment PFI contract?
I mean, I have to start off, this is not to escape our responsibility in any way as consultees in this process, but the process is being conducted. That is the waste PFI procurement process. PFI stands for Public Finance Initiative, and this is the way in which the new waste treatment and disposal contract is being procured. It's being procured by a public tendering process through strict European procedures. The County Council are in charge of this process at the moment, and they will be until the 1st of April. Now, we as Cheshire West and Chester are being consulted about this, and we have arrangements in hand at the moment to be consulted over the next period of time.
There seems to be a lot of confusion as to why Chester City adopted for a weekly waste collection when the other two boroughs have fortnightly collection. I know that this is because it took 3 years to identify by law a contractor. If the Shadow Authority had decided to unify the three areas from day one, how much would it have cost to break Chester's contract?
The Chester contract, the consultation process started the procurement process started some 3 years ago, and when the announcement for the new council came about, they're at the point where they were actually almost coming to the final decision, which got caught by the Section 24 notice.
Could you explain what that is for?
The Section 24 notice is whereby a council which has a tender over, I think it's £100,000 or a commitment over £100,000, has to refer to the new authority. So we can say yes or no. That's all we can do. We can't sort of go away and negotiate and do this, do that, and do the other. It's just basically a yes or no, and strictly on financial grounds. It'd be very tenuous to do it on any other grounds. Now, the Chester contract had already been extended. To extend it again at that late stage, the legal advice we received, if we just said no, would be that Chester could be effectively sued by the other contractors because they would have felt that's an unfair process, and that would have cost a great deal of money. I understand Chester City Council received the same strong legal advice. So it's not possible to extend the existing contract at that late stage in the procurement process. What we did do is that we refused to make a decision, if I remember right. I'm trying to go what we did say now.
We sent it back.
And we sent it back and asking them if they would consider a 3-year break clause. That then would allow the Chester contract to be broken in 3 years, which would align itself with the Vale Royal contract, which had recently been extended to enable that common contract to start in 2012. The Ellesmere Port system of collecting waste is different again to the other two, because they're all different, and they have an in-house staff, so it's basically never gone out to contract. So in 2012 we will put the whole contract as one, and we'll go out to the market and hopefully put in place a new contract in 2012.
So I'll try and deal with the question about why Chester City Council, because I think this was the part of Councillor Welton's question, wasn't it? That why did Chester City Council opt for a weekly waste collection? On coming into office in 2007, the Conservative administration resolved to consult all the residents, all households, on a meaningful set of options. A consultation document was issued to all households with those options set out. I've got some copies of these here, which people might wish to have a look at. But you can see from that document that the costs of the weekly collection option were more than the cost of the fortnightly. or alternate weekly collection option. And of the households that responded to the questionnaire, 70% voted in favour of the weekly collection system. And the reason that they voted for it was that they regarded the fortnightly collection system as a diminution of service. They felt that there were health and safety issues in relation to it, and so on and so forth. So the council decided then to go for the weekly collection system. I have to say that one of the factors in this is that whereas those costs which are set out on that leaflet there are the average of the tender prices, and therefore higher, having determined that they would go to a weekly collection system, the actual tendered prices of the weekly collection system were lower. They were lower than the existing costs that Chester City Council was paying. They were lower than the budget that was provided for the next 3 years for Chester City Council, and they were on par with the fortnightly collection systems or alternate weekly collection systems which are operated in other parts of the new authority. So they were no more expensive, and so there was no reason not to go to adopt that solution.
Can I just add to this? This is a really important point to make. Leslie's doing quite a lot of work on the budget, and for the first time we're counting fees in the same order for each local authority in terms of what's in and what's out of each collection. On the face of it, the cost for collection is £58 per household in Ellesmere Port, but actually when you include the same things in it and what's out of it, it actually comes to within £1 of Vale Royal and Chester. They're all within £1 of each other for the net collection costs, and it's based on the fact that there's been an awful lot of learning by the Cheshire Waste Partnership over the past 7 or 8 years. Chester started off with a recycling scheme that was the top of the pile, 23%. Unfortunately, it never moved on. Vale Royal introduced a scheme, was it 5 years ago, Les?
Yeah.
And I have to say, all credit to Vale Royal, it was an excellent scheme, and the recycling increased to 46%. Congleton introduced a weekly scheme, and in the last quarter they've achieved 50.83% recycling because of the new innovative learning that they brought into that scheme. Now, one needs to be slightly cautious of the numbers on a quarterly basis because in the summer you've got a lot of gardening waste, so the gardening waste appears to be a lot higher in the summer, but that's still a very good level of recycling. And the new scheme in Chester again takes the learning from all the previous schemes and actually puts it into a new scheme. So we will be measuring the level of performance on all these schemes now in Cheshire in the coming 12 months, 2 years, and looking at how we will actually put that together in an open consultation process for 2012 contract. And as far as I'm concerned, we've put all the options on the table, and if people in our communities wish us to invest in services for weekly collection, provided it's reasonable and we can afford it, we'll do it. If it's an alternate weekly collection, we'll do an alternate weekly collection. I think the important thing is we will listen to what residents say, and it will not be petty party politics that will dictate to residents of what scheme is going to be put in, regardless of what residents think. And that's the commitment I'm prepared to make. I'm sure Neil and Les will support that.